What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the print room. I'm Gerald. Please subscribe below if you like our videos. Today we're going to do DTF on the GTX, get settings dialed in, okay? We are going to be using, because this is what we use, the Firebird IHP Instant Hot Peel. We like it the best simply because it's the best for our workflow, efficiency, and just the speed of it. Now, we do a lot of it on our Mamakis, but for today, we're going to go back to our old school way, and we're going to do some settings for you guys that only do it on the GTX. And the cool thing with today is we got one machine loaded up with Brother ink, and we got another machine loaded up with Firebird ink. Okay, so we're gonna do the same settings on both. We're gonna do 3 rounds, changing it on the graphics lab, and we're gonna see what settings work the best for each one of the inks. So whether you're using Brother ink or whether you're using Firebird ink, you will be able to figure out your settings with using DTF on it. All right, so let's just get started. So we're gonna put our sheet down here. We're gonna go print. Now we're gonna do ink volume of 5. Background color, yes. Multi-pass, yes. Reverse, yes. Mode, we're gonna change to eco mode. Double printing, no. Then we're gonna go here, we're gonna go with, we're gonna do a 4-1. Yeah, that's kind of the minimal. We're gonna check the white vibrancy and everything. Color pause, blah, blah, blah. We're all good. You know, you can mess with this down here. Sometimes I mess with the contrast, go up a little bit if it's got like darker colors in it. If there's like a solid black in it, sometimes I go all the way up to like 30, because sometimes with the GTX, it'll put these like little streaks. There's no blacks in this. We'll just go 15. And yeah, let's get these started in printing. Now, just like all our videos, we aren't going to be having cuts, but we will speed up during just the printing area to make the video shorter to easier to view. But we won't cut. We'll print them, move them to the side, get the next set printing, and then we will powder it and run it through our conveyor. So we are using our Travosi conveyor to do it, and it's set at 145 Celsius for 2.5 minutes. Sorry, restarting this one. It went to a nozzle check by accident. I know a lot of people use the Vastec with the infrared, so you'll just have to kind of dial in that settings. But when we used to use that in the past, we were kind of around like a 300, you know, 280 to 300 we were at. That's just another machine telling us it's cleaning time. Okay, so we got this going. So we're gonna let these print. It's gonna be about 2 minutes. In your time, it'll probably be about 10 seconds. All right, so we got the first one done with Brother. Everything looks pretty good. Colors look pretty good. You know, yeah, it looks good for the DTF life. White looks pretty good. Let's get this next set going before we talk more about it. So we just did a 3-1. So we're gonna increase that now. I'm sorry, we did a 4-1. Now we're gonna go to a 4-3. We're not gonna change anything else. Basically right now, we're just gonna increase the underbase under the color, actually everything, and we're gonna see how well that looks. Are we gonna have some other issues arise? Are we gonna have, you know, is the powder gonna stick around the letters? Is any mixing gonna happen with the CMYK? Yeah, this one looks really good too. The white looks a little bit more vibrant on the Firebird one, but you know, we'll see after it's all said and done with the powder added to the back. We won't jump the gun with that. But yeah, we're gonna look at multiple things. You know, we're gonna see how the powder sticks to everything. How does the powder stick? Does it stick too much around the edges? Is there any mixing of the ink? How's it gonna peel? You know, and we know that the more powder you can get, the better it's gonna wash. But the more powder you get, worse the hand feel is. So with DTF, that's the dilemma. You want a softer hand feel, you do less ink. But with less ink comes less powder. And with less powder means the wash isn't as good. So more ink, more powder, more adhesion, better wash. So let's see what the best numbers are for each. Now, this video isn't really a comparison video between the two inks. This video is more of just what settings would I use? What settings would I use depending on what ink I'm using? So the inks are clearly different. So that's what we're trying to figure out with this video here. You know, not necessarily, oh, is this ink better or not? Now, maybe we will see that, you know, because maybe we'll see an issue arise. Maybe we'll see an issue arise with one of the inks as we're increasing the ink amount. Maybe we'll see one start bleeding faster than the other, or maybe we'll see one have a better vibrancy. I am not sure yet, and that's the purpose of doing this video for you guys. All right, we got number 2 done. This one's, you know, looking good. Colors look solid. I mean, everything seems fine on it. But like I said, we're gonna get some more data once we put the powder on to see if any issues arise. We're then gonna heat press them on a shirt and also take the L value. Well, see if it'll let me send it. It wants me to change the wiper cleaner. Not sure if it's going to let me send it to do this final print. So that might be our last one with the Brother ink. So let's see. The Firebird one we can definitely do. Yeah, it is not allowing. Yeah, I have to change. Sorry guys. I can only send this one for the Firebird ink, the 6.3. Yeah, it went in error mode to change the wiper cleaner for the maintenance. I didn't see the warning come up. So yeah, we'd have to turn the machine off and back on. So no more for the Brother ink at the 6.3, but we'll have good data for the 4.1 and the 4.3. Firebird looks real good at the 4.3 also. All the colors look good. So let's get this powdered. So you can see here, everything's looking really good. We're not seeing any of any ink mixing, any ink like spilling out, dripping over, anything like that. So we are, man, this thing won't stay. I think we're totally good to go at the 4.3. Looks like basically all the powder is off of the machine or off of the film. So we're good to go. Let me just mark these and then we'll start heat pressing. 4.3, Brother, 4.3. Okay. All right, this first set's coming out. So let's take a look. Don't try touching any metal. We only use it because there's a lot of airflow through here. Like I said, we have Mamaki, so we don't do it through the GTX anymore. And our Travosi has a lot of airflow, so it makes the paper fly. So, and you also might be questioning, like, why does this have like a tinted background, you know, behind all the color? With the Firebird CMYK, it's got a, going blank on the name, but it's basically transfer ready technology is what they call it. And basically it's telling you that everything is cured properly. If we saw only white back here, it's going to tell us that the powder is not fully melted the way it should and the inks are not cured as much as they should be. So with the Firebird, if you have the CMYK loaded up, then it does this. So there's nothing to be harmed. The front is still all perfect the way it should be. And you don't see anything when you adhere it. So let's get these starting the press. We got the press at 300 Fahrenheit, 20 PSI, 10 seconds. I'm just doing Gildan 5000 100% cotton. I am not gonna pre-press these because I know pre-pressing will just make it look better. Okay, but let me grab this last one real quick. So this is Firebird at a 6.3. Like I said, we don't have it at the Brother because the machine the machine wanted to go in error state and tell us to change the platinum. But this is very wet. I think it's too much ink for sure. So the setting would be too high, but let's just find out. But at least we have the other two to compare to get those settings kind of dialed in. Yeah, this is too much ink. Started to drip, you know. Now, I could have left it on the platen for like, let's say another 30 seconds or a minute. It probably would have started gelling up, right? I kind of took it off right away, but it does show us that, you know, the Firebird white prints pretty vibrant. So it started to drip off the film at the 6.3 setting. So 6.3 would definitely be at the max, and I would definitely leave it, you know, sitting off to the side for 30 seconds to a minute so it doesn't drip, because it'll start to air dry. So that's one thing with that. But we're gonna dry it anyways, and we're gonna see how well it does. All right, let's start pressing these shirts. So this first one we're doing is the Firebird 4.1. So we're gonna do a 10-second hit, see how it peels, right? We didn't see any powder stick anywhere besides on the ink itself. There's nothing around the edges. Boom. Nice easy peel. We check this, 0 ink left on this sheet. Very, very good. So we do double presses for all of our customers, so that's what we're just going to do to get the most accuracy out of when we measure the L value. Okay, these other two are done. Once again, we only use these little metal washers and stuff to hold it down because our dryer has a lot of airflow. We don't want the papers flying around. So there's our first one right there. Okay, just gonna put it over here. Right down, that's the Firebird 4.1. So FB 4.1. And we're even gonna do all of them on the same side, because sometimes even with the heat press, it could vary left or right a little bit with how the pressure is and the platens and stuff. So we're gonna do them all on the same side. So this next one here is the Brother 4.1. Same thing, load up, nothing different. Let's see how it looks. And then once we get these pressed, we will do a quick L value, as we've done in our other videos, on the little white square. That's the purpose of me putting it down there so I can do a measurement. Okay, peeled up. It didn't peel as easy, to be honest with you. Could be a coincidence. Not saying, you know, every time, but when I peeled it up, the shirt was lifting up a little bit more, but there is no ink. There is no ink left on the sheet. So they both fully peeled off, which is a good sign. Yeah, but it had a little bit harder of a peel up. Like I said, I'm not saying that for certain. It's one shirt, one data point. So, but just something I noticed there. Okay. So number 2 done. Let's mark it real quick. This is Brother 4.1. Now, if I was doing 100% polyester, I would be down. I would be closer to 270 to 280. Firebird at 4.3. 270 to 280 on the heat press if I was doing 100% polyester. And if I was doing a hoodie, I would be closer to 320. That's what I like to do with my settings. And when I drop it down for the polyester, I usually will, with my second hit, I'll do it a little longer. Nice easy peel again. No ink on the shirt. We'll do the second hit. You know, I might only hit that first hit for like 8 or 10 seconds with the polyester just to get the film peeled. But then the second hit, maybe I'll do 15 seconds or so to get that good, extra good bonding and wash. Okay. So there's Firebird 4.3. Marking FB3. Now we'll do the Brother at 4.3. So it looks like no matter which ink, didn't have any issues with powder sticking. My bad, guys. I pre-pressed this one. So putting that off to the side because we're not pre-pressing. Brother 4.3. We did not see any powder sticking to the edge. Sometimes what you'll see with the DTF is that you'll see this extra layer of powder like all around letters and the graphic. And then when you go and peel up, you kind of see this like clear shiny film around everything. We did not see that with either case. So yeah, so look, definitely the Brother ink was a little bit harder to peel up. I do have two little spots there. Now that could just be, I manually powdered it. You know, maybe I missed it, right? So I would disregard that. But both of the ones that I went to peel up, it definitely was more difficult to peel. When I did it with the Firebird, it was an easy peel, shirt barely moved. But with the Brother, I mean, that time there I was holding up and it wasn't coming off. So I had to give it a little extra. Okay, this is Brother 4.3, and we just have one left. Now remember guys, with this last one here, I definitely moved it too soon, so it made the ink drip. If I wanted to do a higher ink setting, I should have moved it over to another area on top of the machine, another platen, a table, let it sit for 30 seconds to 1 minute, then powder it so it can start to air dry and the ink not be so wet. If you need to go up to that setting. But with what I've seen so far at that 4.1 and 4.3 on this black cotton shirt, black Gildan, heavy cotton shirt, that those look pretty good. So I mean, you don't have to necessarily go to a 6. If you want to have a little more, maybe you go 5.2, right? But oh, look who it is. It's the most famous dog in the whole entire world, Sophie. So yeah, the Firebird definitely peels easier off of this IHP film. That's for certain. Each time it was a much easier peel. So there's that. But as far as any extra powder, that wasn't an issue with either one. As far as vibrancy, it doesn't look like an issue, but we're gonna do that L value right now. Okay, so this one's all done. So I'm gonna bring these over here. Actually, I'll put them right here so it's easier for the camera lady to get me in. We're gonna turn on our Spectro. And if you haven't seen our other videos, we've used this tool multiple times, right? Little Spectro 1 helps us measure how vibrant the white ink is, okay? So it will measure how vibrant our white is, right? Now, if you do like a neon shirt, I'm not gonna get into it, but if you do like a neon shirt and your white is not that solid, it's still gonna have a high L value because the neon is vibrant and it's about light reflection. So, but this is a black shirt. So if it's not a solid white, that black shows through, then it lowers the L value down. That's kind of why we are doing it here. So I'm gonna stick it right onto that square and then we're gonna scan. Okay. So right now, it says we got an 88.45. This is with the 4.1 setting. Okay, I'm just gonna do one more because it was the first scan of the day, just to make sure. The white looks really good. You know, I know with DTF, usually with DTF, you wanna be like 88 to like 90. So this is a 88.43. 88.43. With DTG, you want to be actually a little bit higher because it's a different like type of ink. Plus you don't have the powder backing. So if you watch our other videos, I say, oh, you know, we like to be like 91, 92, and sometimes we get up to 94. But with DTF, it is different because one, it's a little bit more of a matte finish. So the reflection's a little bit different versus the DTG where you're measuring like that ink and it was not on a film. This ink was on a film that has a coating, so therefore it makes it a little matte. And because it's matte and not glossy, your L value will automatically be a little less, even though it looks very good. So if you're not getting 92s with your DTF, that's okay because it still looks amazing. So we're gonna scan this one. This is Brother. So we are basically the same when we just do another one to verify. Scan now. We are at 88.56. So 88.43, 88.56, that's literally identical. You're not seeing any difference. So that's the Brother 4.1 and the Firebird 4.1. So now let's go to the Firebird and Brother 4.3. So this one's the Brother right here at 4.3. Scan. So 88.74. So just a little bit change. Let's just double check. Now changing the underbase once again. It changes more of the underbase with the colors, but it should still add a little bit to the white. So 88.69. So let's just say 88.7. Okay. So that's at the 4.3. So 4.1 to a 4.3. The color's a little bit deeper, but basically the white is exactly the same. So now let's go to Firebird 4.3. Let's see what we get here. Scan. 88.4 again. Let's see, double check. And scan. Yeah, 88.42. So no change with the Firebird ink either, going from 4.1 to 4.3 in eco mode. Now this is the 6.3, but like I said, the ink dripped. I think it's gonna, because the ink dripped down, you know, as I showed you, basically some of the ink went off. So I think the L value is actually going to be lower because of that issue. So, but we're just going to do it because we're here. Let's just see what it comes up as. Yeah, it's at an 88. So because it dripped down, clearly the ink that was behind it went down, then less powder got on there, clearly lowers the L value. So this one would be null and void for now. But there's our testing. Basically, whether you're using Brother ink or you're using Firebird ink, doing it on the IHP hot film, right? You're basically gonna get like the same L value. Both prints look good, but the one big difference that I saw was it definitely was easier to peel the Firebird ink off of the film versus the Brother. Now you might say, well, is that a big deal? I mean, it comes off, it comes off. Well, we didn't have many tiny, tiny little gradients in here. There's a lot of DTF that'll do halftones. And if you have a difficult time peeling and you have all these little halftones, those halftones are not gonna stay adhered to the shirt. So that's where I would say the benefit of using Firebird over Brother on the DTF is when you start getting these little dots and halftones or little text that if it peels easier, then it's easier for it to stay on the shirt and adhere to the shirt. But besides that, they were basically kind of like equal when it comes to DTF. Once again, this is DTF. We were not comparing them for DTG. That'll be another video. And this really wasn't a compare, it's finding your settings. So I think either one with the IHP, if you're around a 4.1, 4.2, 5.1, 5.2 eco mode, that you're gonna have some really nice prints. You're not gonna have any issues you know, with peeling, unless it's the fine gradients and you're using the Brother ink. But all in all, I think it was pretty successful, even with the little hiccups here and there. So guys, thank you for checking out this video. I hope it helped, and please check our other ones. Have a great one.